when you're in pain, soothing as a springtime rain, to have a friend right in your corner. Your heart will feel a little warmer. Tender loving care, tender loving care. Each warm and friendly touch lets someone know you care so much. Tender loving care, tender loving care.
Good evening and welcome to Tender Loving Care. No, I'm not Dr. Allman. My name is Carol Long. And for the next few weeks, I'm going to be filling in for Dr. Allman, who's anxiously awaiting another grandbaby. So in the next few weeks, since this is Tender Loving Care, I thought it would be nice if we talked a little bit about our wonderful volunteers throughout the county of Upshur and the city of Buckhannon who work and make a difference in people's lives. It's very important and no better way that I can think of showing tender loving care. My guest this evening is Mary Albaugh, and she's going to be talking about what some of the veterans do in their volunteer services. And we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on with your organization, with American Legion. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
If I ask you a question about the qualities you would be looking for in a person to see if they were a good citizen, what would you say?
I'd say my first response would be volunteerism.
That's very important.
It is.
Our country, I don't think, would run very well if we
No.
didn't have people that stepped up and stepped out and helped others.
That's true. We may not have been the country we are today without the volunteers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about what your role is with the American Legion. I know you were on here the other evening with another gentleman,
C.J.
Rollins,
Create
and you
Buckhannon.
talked a little bit about something special that's going to happen for Veterans Day. We want to talk about that because we do have a little bit of time left for that.
Yes, we will. We will.
So I'm just going to let you talk a little bit about the American Legion.
Okay.
First of all, how do people refer to you when you're in that office? Do you have a title?
I have a title. I am the post adjutant for the American Legion, which is more like the administrative person. I'm also the chairman of the children and youth programs, and I work closely with all of our other chairmen, like the Americanism and our baseball chairman and any of our programs that we have. And very closely with the post commander, who is Les Shreve, and with our chaplain even. So I am the go-between everyone.
So the buck stops with you.
Yes. Until I yell
That's
for
something
help.
I always like to.
Yeah.
There's always somebody that's in charge, and they have to make sure everything runs smoothly.
That's true. But the one good thing about the American Legion is there's no rank. We may be called a post commander or an adjutant or first vice or whatever, but there's no rank. You can't pull rank on one another.
I asked you a question before we started this tonight. Do you ever wear a uniform? And you said there is one thing that is uniform. So you want to tell the folks? You're wearing it.
I'm wearing it. My hat means that I am in uniform. Of course, I'm in work clothes today, but civilian clothes with the hat means that I am representing the American Legion. We have, T-shirts or whatever with American Legion on them, but it was too cool outside today. But we have also, our honor guard with the black pants, white shirt, and honor guard symbol. And we wear our hats then for when we're doing honor guard volunteer work.
Now, the honor guard, do you have one from the American Legion, or do you have combined with the VFW and the DAV?
The honor guard has been around for 65, 67 years now, and it started with veterans of all the veterans organizations, the American Legion, the VFW, and both DAVs, which are Disabled American Veterans, and they got together and formed a combined honor guard.
And they do so much. They're everywhere all the time.
They really do. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I know it was over 200 funerals that they attended.
And it's a very powerful thing to have
Yes,
them at a funeral.
it is. It
We
really is.
just had Harvest Time in the Hills, and I think it's still being shown some here on TV3. And we always do a salute to the veterans because, people tend to forget. It used to be a long time ago, probably when our parents were involved, you had a draft.
Yeah.
And you were called and you went.
Right.
Now it's an all volunteer service. And, not everybody wants to go, but it just seems like we have so many men and women who feel like it's their job to go
Right.
and serve a few years in serving our country in some way.
And some of them make careers of it, which is a great way to get an education. That was one of the reasons I joined the Navy, was so that I could get an education. I joined back in '73, and the draft was over, but I joined the Navy and went in for 3 years and was eligible for the GI Bill, went to college, and then got out of the Navy, went into civil service and worked there for many years before I moved to West Virginia, and it was a good career, a
Right.
a great career. And had I not gone in the military, I probably would have never have gotten to go to college, and I wouldn't have gotten to travel and to meet so many different types of people from everywhere.
What did you do in the Navy?
I was doing the same thing I'm doing as a post adjutant. I was a yeoman, which is an administrative assistant.
Okay.
And worked mostly in military personnel. And except for about my 6 months, I flew with VP 30 Squadron. And of course, I was just a little seaman then. So I didn't even get to ride on a seat. I had to be strapped down in the aircraft, and, with a seatbelt on the floor.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but it was a wonderful experience, and I'm the only one of 2 members of my immediate family that served in the military. I had one brother who was in the Army, and he was in during the Vietnam era, and he was killed in Vietnam. And when I went to join the military, I didn't like the Army recruiter. I liked the Navy guy, so
Okay.
I joined the Navy.
Well, my son just retired last year after 22 years as an Army recruiter. My husband was in Vietnam. My dad was in World War II and also in the Korean War. So I have some history with my family. And
And your husband.
yeah, my husband was special.
Yes, he was. Burl Long. He was very special. Very, very special man to this community and to his country.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell us a little bit now about something special that's coming up. I don't want to forget that because we still have time. And
Yeah.
I've had people to say, oh, it's too late for me to do anything with the
No.
Walk for Valor. My person that I would put in the Walk of Valor is in the military, and it's people who've passed away. I mean, there's all kinds of questions, so let's set the record straight.
Okay.
First of all, we have until October the 30th.
October
right?
the 30th, that's correct. There has been, to date, about 100 of the banners purchased
Oh, wonderful.
to salute veterans. And there's space for 180 for this year.
Okay.
That's going to be the cutoff part. But there will be more for upcoming years. So if you want to recognize or salute a veteran, all you need to do is to contact the several people.
And it's man or woman.
Man or
It can
woman.
be-
It can be man or woman. You don't have, this veteran doesn't have to be a Upshur County person or a West Virginia person. It could be your grandfather who you loved and supported and missed, and honoring that veteran. It really doesn't matter where that veteran was stationed or grew up, or as long as you want to salute that veteran.
And this is started, I think, by Create by
Create
Canon.
Buchanan. It did. It was kind of like we all kind of, the American Legion and the American Legion Auxiliary had an idea about trying to increase the spirit of Americanism within our community, because we didn't do a very great job at the 4th of July, and so we went forth to the city council with an idea about placing American flags at the lamppost on Main Street.
And that looks so nice.
Yeah, we're very proud of that. That's the Legion Auxiliary
Okay.
Women and the American Legion posted that. And at the same time, Creek Buchanan had to brainstorm, and they're a group of citizens who are all volunteers,
Right.
okay, that work together, and they came up with the idea of maybe putting banners on the lampposts. But they agreed. You put the flags there. We'll do the lamppost over at the Jawbone Park, the nice pavilion there. And the city, of course, is behind all this. They have to give us
Right.
permission and approval to do it, and they also are going to be maintaining them, the Creek Buchanan is just not doing the banners themselves. They have purchased a beautiful banner that will go across Main Street that'll have all 5 branches of service on
Oh,
it.
that's awesome.
And it is going to really be. It's going to replace the American Legion banner this year, but that's okay. We're very glad of that because this is a special time.
And this is for Veterans Day.
This is for veterans, yes. And they will be up by Veterans Day because. Well, maybe I should tell a little bit how that Veterans Day is going to work till we get.
Sure.
people
We'd
can
like
go.
to know. We want people to start marking
Okay.
it on their calendar, give us the
Right.
date and some of the things that are going on.
Okay. First of all, the Monday, November the 11th is Veterans Day, and that morning, the another volunteering group, the Elks Lodge, the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks, they serve veterans every Veterans Day a free breakfast, and they'll be serving breakfast from 7:30 till 9.
And any veteran, man or woman can go.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the other thing is, you do not have to be a member of the American Legion, the VFW, or any of the DAVs. You can just be a member of this community, and you're a veteran, and you want to show up and participate in the breakfast, participate in the parade afterwards, participate at the veterans program afterwards. You're more than welcome to do so.
And if they're going to, you said they're going to be at where for breakfast?
At the Elks Lodge.
At what time?
7:30 till 9.
Okay, and where do they line up if they can't
Okay.
go to breakfast?
Lineup will start at 9:30 down at the Gibson Library, and the parade will start at 10:30. We are advertising on Channel 3 and in the newspapers coming up about civic organizations, youth groups, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, the twirlers.
Lots of volunteers.
Our Special Olympic kids,
Right.
they always come
Yeah.
out, and the Cub Packs and stuff. But and even any church groups that want to come, or anyone who wants to come and show their patriotism and support veterans this Veterans Day. When CJ and I were here a couple weeks ago talking about it, we kind of said that we want to make this the best Veterans Day ever. And to make that happen, we need people.
You need people to come out and stand along the walk.
Exactly. We need people to be there, the parade line, on the sidewalks. We need people to come.
And it doesn't go that far.
No, it's
Just
not.
from the library up to the courthouse?
Up to the courthouse,
Okay.
and actually it's going to cut through Chancery Street.
Okay.
And the veterans, we have a lot of veterans, that aren't able to walk in the
True.
parade, so they're going to be driven, and they'll cut through Chancery Street, through the city parking lot there, whatever that little street is next to going towards the. Is that Spring Street? Yeah, going towards Spring Street, directly across to Jawbone Park, where the Walk of Valor is, and then they'll be able to observe or take a walk and look, and then they'll load them up and bring them back over to the VFW building, because there at 12 o'clock is where we're having our traditional Veterans Day program at 12. That's hosted by both the American Legion Post 7 and the Veterans of Foreign Wars 3663. So that's a combined function that the veterans do together. And then within that program, we'll pay tribute to all the deceased veterans in the past year. Call their name and unveil his rank. It's a very emotional thing,
Right.
very much like the POW MIA program.
Oh, that is an awesome
And-
service.
Yeah, it really is. And we'll have a guest speaker. I'm not sure if you've ever heard Dr. Michael George. He wrote a book recently.
I was going to say, is
Yeah.
it my country,
Yeah,
America?
yeah.
Oh, I've got the book.
Great
and I
book.
love it.
Great
I
book.
love it.
But he's going to be our he usually does historical and not impressions, he represents like Francis Scott Key and different people, but in the story of history in America, and he does a beautiful job. But this time he's going to be our inspirational speaker as
Oh,
Dr.
that's
Michael
awesome.
George.
That's awesome.
And
where's
we're-
he's from Buchanan.
Oh yeah. His mother lives here. His father lives here.
Well,
his wife and
I think
son.
it's My Story of America. I think is the name of the book, isn't it?
He's gonna
I know,
skin me
but-
alive. I should have.
I think it's
My Story of America.
Yeah, I think-
What it is individual stories.
and they're awesome. And
They really are, and they're not all veterans. There are people who are speaking in their own words
about patriotism.
patriotism and the love of America and what it means to them to be living in
and
this
isn't
great
it
country.
based on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Actually,
Or the national-
Star Spangled Banner.
the national
Each
anthem.
chapter,
Yeah.
each chapter is named, and each story goes along with that chapter from these people that have shared their stories. with him.
I've read 2 chapters so far, and they're just awesome.
They really are. But back to our Veterans Day program or celebration. We're not calling it a program, but we do want people from the community to come and.
Can they come to the program?
Oh yes, by
so
all means.
it's not just for the veterans.
No, it's not
for
just
anybody that
this-
wants to come.
No. The Buchanan High School band's going to be marching in the parade,
Mm-hmm.
of course, and we might have 1 or 2 military vehicles because the kids always
Mm-hmm.
like that, and there will be some people throwing out candy for the kids, because the kids like that too. But the veterans enjoy this one day. This one day, and it's a day that I have to separate myself because I'm always busy doing something for the rest of them. But I enjoy this day too. Last year I got to drive the post commander in his car. I don't think I'll get to do that this year.
Well,
But
it's a way to just say thank you
It is.
to our veterans, and
It is.
and there is no higher calling, I don't think, than for someone to fight for their country.
No.
There's people that have fought and died just so we can come and talk.
You're
you know?
exactly right.
Yeah.
They're the ones that give us the freedom and the opportunity to do what we're doing right here today.
And I get so angry when people burn the flag and when people put down our veterans and don't
understand.
treat them with respect.
Right.
I just think they really deserve it.
There's been, you'll hear people talk, Burl and I used to talk about this, when people came back from the Vietnam War, our veterans during that time, they were not really received home as heroes.
He left the battlefield, came into California, got off the plane, and he was spit on.
Right. And, yeah. But that image should be changed, and we want that to change. And we know that there's...
And I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is too. But the major... I looked at our list, our membership list. We have a lot... We don't have that many World War II veterans, and we've got a few Korean veterans. But the majority of our veterans are from the Vietnam era, and I'm the Vietnam era. But there's a lot of veterans out there, the younger generation of veterans, that's serving in the
Iraq.
Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, and we encourage them to come. They live here, they work here, and bring their families. Come join us in the parade,
Well,
and
if
come
they're-
join us at the service.
If there's somebody out there that is a veteran, and they may have some difficulties, maybe with some of the post-war syndrome, if they have maybe problems with various things, is
Well-
there some place that they can, like a central location,
Well-
where they can plug in and you can help them?
And we do that. I'm not necessarily the service officer, but I am in the office more often.
And where are you located?
In the American Legion building at 16 South Kanawha Street.
And it's a nice room now.
Yeah,
it
it
used to be
is.
the chamber office.
Yes, it did.
But it's now a really nice,
It really
decorated,
is.
and just a real. It's a quiet place, but it's
It's
very attractive and very
nice.
peaceful.
And we're very proud of our new office, and it gives us an opportunity to provide our service, better service to our veterans. And one of the things that we do there at the American Legion too is twice a month we have a PTSD group that come in that meet there. So, and this is through the VA. We have a memorandum of understanding with them, and rather than these veterans traveling to Clarksburg or wherever to go, or Morgantown or wherever to go to a meeting, we have there at the first and third Thursday from 1 to 2. in the American Legion building.
And do they
And if
just
you-
share some of their stories?
Don't know. I'm not a member
yeah.
of it, but I know how to. I found out from the counselor there that if anybody wants to join this group, if they're a veteran, all they have to do is to show up and bring a copy of their DD 214, and she'll take care of it from there if they want to join that PTSD group. And that's a great service we can
Yes,
provide.
it would be.
And, and me as the adjutant, I've helped people to retrieve their DD 214s,
And that's not an easy thing to do.
No, and even apply for some of their parents' medals and awards and things. Maybe they were lost or whatever, and they knew their parent had received them. So there's a way that you can go through and do that. So there's lots of things that we can do that way. But those are the services that we provide our veterans, not just our members, our veterans. There's a new program that we have for there's a lot of homeless veterans.
Yes.
And
there are.
Mountain Cap has started a new program with assisting veterans who are in need. They're trying to keep the families together rather than separating them. And I didn't bring that information, but if you want information, if you are a veteran or you know someone who has family and needs help, Ezra at Mountain Cap. And the number is in the phone book, and he would be glad to help you. This is
Well,
something
and if
just came
someone
out.
just has questions,
Yes.
call Mary because she can find out about anything
Yeah.
that you would need to know if you're a veteran.
Yeah. But I want to share you some of our accomplishments.
Okay.
Or what we're doing at the
Okay.
American Legion. The American Legion is built upon 4 pillars: Americanism, children and youth. Here we go: Americanism, children and youth, veteran affairs, and what's my other one? Good grief. National security. And that's not one I work with very much. Okay. But anyways, here in Buchanan, we've been very active with, like this summer, the Buchanan Police Department asked us to teach a citizenship as part of their Youth Police Academy.
Okay.
So we did that, and we taught a course on citizenship. And it was a lot of fun interacting with the kids. And you'd be surprised that the middle school kids were even more active than the high school kids, which I thought was odd. But they were. And that was fun. We also partner with... well, we don't partner. We have American Legion Baseball. We have Mountaineers Boys State and Rhododendron Girls State for the girls.
And this is all done by American Legion.
Yeah, these are American Legion programs.
There's a lot of things
There are a lot of things
that they do.
We've got something coming up, and I'm actually going to the high school this week to address the school award medal program, and also to deliver to them information about the oratorical speech contest, which is an opportunity for 9th through 12th grade high school students to participate in a constitutional speech to win scholarship money to go.
Oh, and that's very important
Yes,
nowadays.
yes,
it costs
it is.
quite a bit to go to college.
Yes, it does.
I think I like hearing what you're doing with our youth.
I love
Because
it.
if we don't keep our youth in knowledge of what's happened in the past and what it's like to be a patriot of their country,
There you go, right
it's
there.
going to be lost.
Right. And that is why a couple of years ago at our post, we had one of our members, Robert Post,
Bob.
Post, who brought up to before the membership and the commander about, they know this is a problem, what you just said. Their youth of today, they wouldn't know a veteran. They don't know what it means.
No.
They don't know what it means. So, or to serve or to volunteer. So, anyways, they worked on proposing what we call a resolution on patriotism. And we worked on that all the way through the State Department of West Virginia, American Legion. And then they tasked Post 7 with taking it all the way up also to the West Virginia State Board of Education.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this was to teach Americanism, patriotism, the love of country to our youth. And a couple weeks ago, we just spoke with Roy Wager, new superintendent of schools. Commander Les Shreve and myself went to visit with him, found out that he's a veteran, recruited him. And I still need your application, Roy. And also, we found out the good news is that it has been included in the curriculum for schools throughout West Virginia. He showed us that, and it's being included.
And who will teach it?
Social studies. Social studies. He thinks is going to be in the curriculum for social studies, and
Is that somehow you all can be involved with that?
if they want us to. If they
I would
want us
think
to,
they would.
Yeah, if they want us to, and that may be something we'll find out later on. It may not happen to the second part of the year. We don't know yet, but we're looking forward to working with them on this.
Oh, that's
all
awesome.
schools. Anytime you, any teacher, any principal, if you ever need anything, any assistance in your classes or anything on patriotism, Americanism, veterans, we are always at the American Legion ready and willing to help you.
And I think it's also important to let everybody know that the American Legion is very important, but so isn't the VFW
Yeah,
and the DAV.
yeah,
They
yeah.
sort of interconnect and help one another, even down to your guard, like you say when you
Well,
go
the
out
honor
and do-
guard.
the
we're
honor guard.
we're not. We don't work together within our programs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Only with the honor guard, and everybody's is a little separate or a little different. We're on our own little separate entity. American Legion's been around since 1919, and we've got a lot of members. They support veterans to Washington. Okay, they go before the Veterans Administration, and they do a lot of things.
We hear a lot
with
about the
veterans.
VFW groups and the
They do.
retired.
Yes.
But American Legion. What is the one thing that, and if just a couple of words that you could say that would let people know exactly what the American Legion is all about?
For God and country.
God and country.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because you can't have one without the other.
Absolutely.
And
we're losing that.
And we're losing that, and that needs we're losing that, and that's why we want to focus with our children. That's why we want to rejuvenate the spirit of Americanism within our community. That's why we want patriotism taught in our schools so our children can learn. And that's why we want to be there and be a part of it so they'll know who we are.
Right.
Okay. And they'll be able to say, look, Mom, there's a veteran. Can I go over and thank that person
Yes,
for her
that's
service or
good.
his service?
And we're going to have a good start on the 13th
Yes,
of
we are.
November with this Walk of Valor. I'm really excited
Yes.
about that.
It's really going to be nice.
And I really appreciate you coming in and
Thank
talking
you.
this evening. And in the
thank
next
you.
few weeks, we're going to have some other organizations, help agencies, who really are supported by volunteers, and they're making a huge difference. And I want to close the program with this evening. I found it, and I just thought, oh, how nice this is. It's called One. One tree can start a forest. One smile can begin a friendship. One hand can lift a soul. One candle can wipe out darkness. One laugh can conquer gloom. One hope can raise your spirits. One touch can show you care. One life can make a difference. So you be the one that does that today. And we'll see you next week. Don't forget to tune in to Tender Loving Care. And Dr. Allman will be back soon, but we're going to bring you some things that I think fit right in with Tender Loving Care with a lot of our folks here in Upshur County who go out every day and volunteer with something. And if you haven't found a place to plug in, maybe in watching some of these programs, if you're a veteran, join the American Legion.
Exactly. We'd love to have you.
If you are, we're going to try to talk to the parish house. Volunteer at the clothes closet. Volunteer at the hospital. Volunteer with Pet Door Rescue. There's a lot of places that you can plug into, and you can make a difference in the life of someone else. So till next week, you have a nice evening.
Stories of a West Virginia Doctor, written by Dr. Harold D. Allman. A collection of 55 short stories about his experience as a small-town doctor in central West Virginia. And Tender Loving Care. Stories from a West Virginia Doctor, Volume 2, written by Dr. Greenbrier Allman, using videotapes to write 70 additional stories of his father's very colorful life as a small-town doctor. They can be found for purchase at Amazon.com and most local bookstores. Tune into Channel 3 Buckhannon for Tender Loving Care with Dr. Greenbrier Allman, where he talks about the connection between Christianity and medicine.